Okay, video 4. Let's take our character a little bit further. So we can do this with other sections as well if you want. The body is quite an interesting one. Now, as you've hopefully rehearsed, you should know that computer animation characters have certain rules. One of them is you tend to draw them looking left or looking right to give direction, particularly for a platformer game. And I've given some semblance of 3 dimensions here, but not much. Okay. The bodies, well, there's no hard and fast rule, but as a standard they tend to be quite squat with very short legs. Now, to do this, I'm going to draw my body. I'm going to make it a bright colour, maybe a red. Okay. Now, I can go to the push path tool, and I can try and manipulate it by pushing it in the right direction. But this time I'm going to use a different path. I'm going to use this second arrow here. This is a nodal tool, and I can edit paths directly. If I click on this one, you see it shows me all those little nodes. These nodes, this is the path, I can move them and drag around and get very fine control of anything. I can do the same here if I want. But notice that at the moment there's only 3 nodes. Those are the same 3 nodes we had for the start, the end, up here. So I want to turn this into a slightly more complex shape. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to just tap it once with the push path. Just once. That's all it needs. Now when I go to this nodal tool, you see it's got a few more nodes, and I can move these individually. Okay. I actually want to get rid of this bit where I tapped. Now, to do that, I can click and hold the shift key. I'm going to zoom in, so remember, hold the control key with the wheel moving. I can hold the shift key and select more than one node at the same time, or with the nodal tool activated, I can drag a window and highlight all of those. If I press the delete key, that's the DEL key on your keyboard, it will just delete those nodes. If I want to add a node, do the opposite. What I have to do is select 2 nodes, click on the add, and it will place a node between the 2 nodes I selected. Okay, you notice we've got other options here which you can experiment with. Now, I want to make a rough body shape. Very rough shape. There we go. And if I've got too many of these, I think, well, don't worry, I don't like that one. I hit the delete key, it's gone. Okay, how these arrows work and how these nodes work, right? This is a Bezier curve. A Bezier curve is a French curve. And it's based on some simple mathematics. But we can have any kind of curve we like. If you notice my options, I can make it a corner, I can make it very smooth, and so on and so forth. I have different options. But effectively, if we just look at this one here, and I'm going to zoom in, we have our center node, and we have 2 outlying options for it. And each node will have this, so I can take these, and I can make that sharp corner. If, however, I was to select smooth, it's now made those in a straight line, and now when I move one, it moves both of them at the same time, just like a French curve. If I go to sharp, I can manipulate individually back to smooth, and now together to give me a nice smooth line. The more I manipulate these, the more the corners come out. If I overlap 2, you get quite a sharp corner indeed. If I bring them closer together, you can actually get some very strange overlapping indeed, where it's actually running backwards, which isn't a good thing. Okay, so these are the nodes. Now, what I want to do here, if I'm going to zoom out, remember, hold the control key and do the wheel. So I want to make a rough body shape. So I'm going to keep my nodes nice and simple. Try and keep them smooth in the middle. Smooth that one. Smooth that one. Lose those 2, delete those. And there we have a rough body shape. It narrows ever so slightly, but not by much. Okay. Nice and easy. I can now go back to my normal arrow tool, place it here. And as you can see, it's a bit small, so with my normal arrow tool I can make it larger. There we go. Okay, and I have my tool. Now my problem is it's in front, so with the normal arrow tool, centre back. If I click on it again, I can give it some mention of 3D by doing that. Okay. Next part is what I want to do is I want to draw a set of arms very quickly. I'm going to keep them simple, very simple. Elbow, interconnected. Now you notice they kind of vanish, so I'm going to change them ever so slightly. I've got one set, copy, paste, take another set, centre back. There we go. Now, let's have a look at these arms. Again, I could try and manipulate them individually, but I'm going to use another tool now to take two simple shapes and make them a complex shape. So I've driven two circles, overlapped them, that's important, highlighted them both. If I now go path and I go union, what it's now done is not only has it made one shape, but if I go to my node tool, you can see I can manipulate it as one shape. That's really handy. So I can think, well, actually what I want to do is flatten it out slightly. And there we go. So I can make my arm much simpler to deal with. That's by combining them. Do the same with this one. So again, path, union, and that's made them all one. Okay. Now I'm going to keep repeating this until I have short legs and some feet. Right. So if you can do the same thing, away you go.